bulldozer on Curlies. This is an iconic shack in Goa. I'm sure so many of you would have been there. The demolition process of one of the most controversial places, Curlies, which has been linked to Sonali Phogat's murder case. And earlier, if you remember, Scarlett Keeling was also murdered there about a decade ago. Now, Curlies is finally getting demolished, but not because of these controversies. This is because it's the order of CM Dr. Pramod Sawant. There apparently been green violations by Curlies, and it's been mired by illegal controversies. But the reason why it's being demolished is apparently green violations. The National Green Tribunal has held up the fact that Goa Coastal Management Authority had flagged it off for incursions. Going across to my colleague Anshul Singh for more details. Very good morning to you, Anshul. Anshul, you were following the investigation into the death of Sonali Phogat, and we saw that Curlies came under the scanner. But the reason why it's being raised is actually for green violations and not because it's been mired by these terrible deaths in the past.
That's right. That's very rightly put, Shilpa. In fact, the entire decision to demolish yesterday, when the NGT actually dismissed the plea that was put up by the owners of Curlies, because remember, this order by the Goa Coastal Zone Management Authority came in fact 2016, that Curlies was in fact established on a green zone, and hence the entire structure was illegal, and that was eventually challenged initially in the Supreme Court, then in the High Court, then in the Supreme Court as well, and then finally to the NGT. And it was only yesterday that the NGT finally came out and said that, and in fact dismissed the entire plea, which meant that the order of Goa Zone Development Management Authority, that stands, which means that Curlies would have to be demolished, and that process has already started. And so yes, this entire demolition has nothing to do with the Sonali Phogat controversy, but yes, Curlies has been in the recent news because of it is been alleged that Sonali Phogat actually consumed drugs in Curlies, and hence she got overdosed and died. Also, what action has the government decided to take away Curlies was that the license of Curlies was in the process of being cancelled, and even when that process was going on, even before that, the NGT dismissing the plea of the Curlies owners has meant that the entire structure will now be demolished. Because remember, there are different owners to different parts of the entire structure of Curlies. The shack belongs to someone else on paper, whereas the restaurant beneath the shack belongs to someone else on paper. But yes, the talk of cancelling the license was happening about the shack. But now, since the NGT order has came out, it means that the entire structure, including the shack and the restaurant on the side of the South Anjuna beach, the entire structure would be razed down, and the process has already started. The Deputy Collector of North Goa is on the spot, along with senior police officials, and a senior security team is also following him, making sure that no untoward situation arises over here. And the demolition process has already started, and in the next few hours, you could see that the entire process coming to an end, and the iconic Curly restaurant, which is famous in Goa, or infamous in Goa for the kind of activities that happen there, or the beauty that surrounds that shack. So that Curly's restaurant is going to come down today, and it is the last day for it in the South Anjuna Beach, Shilpa.
Well, Anshul, from what I understand, the entire shack is going to be demolished, and not just the part that is extending out onto the beach. Now, this is a shack that's been there for many years, many decades. It's become a must-visit for tourists in Goa. It's a great point for catching the sunset, and, of course, has been host to many beach parties. And as you're pointing out, some infamous ones as well. But the entire shack is going to be demolished, is it? Not just the part that is illegally encroaching onto the beach?
So yes, according to the order that came off the NGT, it meant that the entire construction should be razed down because the NGT observed while reading out the judgment that the fresh construction has been raised in replacement of the original one for commercial purposes without requisite permission in a no development zone. And this is what the NGT ordered, in fact, observed in this entire case. So the order has paved way for the demolition of the structures along the beach occupied by the beach shack. So yes, the shack that was in fact involved right outside the restaurant, that shack is going to be demolished, and that was the shack that was in fact famous for all sorts of party and was in fact iconic to the name of Curlies. So yes, this is definitely a big setback for the owners of Curlies. Now it remains to be seen how do they go forward and actually manage this entire situation that has developed over there, Shilpa.
Well, yes, it was the sword was hanging upon Curlies for some time, Anshul. As you're mentioning, there were a lot of controversies. But can you explain to me when exactly the Goa Coastal Management Authority had flagged it off for these violations, and whether this death of Sonali Phogat was a major catalyst and a trigger that has led to this demolition?
So I think, Shilpa, it will be wrong to say that that of Sonali Phogat actually triggered this entire situation, because this order by the Goa Green Zone Management came in fact in 2016, after which it was challenged in many courts, including the High Courts and the Supreme Court as well. When finally from the Supreme Court it was said that you need to go to the NGT, National Green Tribunal, to get a requisite order in this. And finally, just a few days ago, it went into the NGT, where the NGT finally dismissed the plea. Basically, the plea was challenging the order of the Goa Green Zone Management, saying that the green zone is being affected and hence it needs to be demolished. So NGT has gone ahead and dismissed that plea, which meant that the green zone's order stand, and hence the part of Curlies that very crucial part of Curlies needs to be demolished. So yes, it has nothing to do with the entire Sonali Phogat fiasco, because this has been on the books for many years now. But yes, since Curlies has been in the limelight for this entire Sonali Phogat case, it could be said that yes, the Goa police. In fact, when I was in Goa, I spoke to very high-level sources within the Goa police and the Goa administration as well, and they said that yes, it has been one of the most notorious clubs action against it. In fact, the Goa police has also started the procedure to cancel the license of the entire Curlies shack. So yes, that is also under process as of now, as we speak. Because remember, a team of Goa police along with Goa tourism police actually went to the restaurant, collected all those papers. So yes, it is in fact in the last stages, and the license could be cancelled in the coming few days as well. So this cancelling of license is because of the Sonali Phogat fiasco, because this is a third such case that comes from the Curlies in approximately the last 10 years, and in all these cases, the Curlies has been named directly. The first case came in fact in 2008, second in 2017, and third the Sonali Phogat case. Also in another case in Andhra Pradesh, where it has been named in the Inshaf Act, where it meant that in the disclosure of the peddler, the name of Curlies came up. So after all such cases that have came up against the Curlies, the Goa police had decided to take action. And yes, in the next 2 days, we could also expect that the license of the shack, the license of the entire restaurant and the shack could also be cancelled by the Goa Tourism Authority as well. So yes, trouble mounting for Curlies, and it doesn't seem that it is the right time of the year for them, because remember the tourist season in Goa is also set to be starting from September, and it is already September. It is the time when people from the entire, not only the entire country but across the globe actually land to Goa to have a good winters. Good Goa winters, enjoy a good Goa winter. So yes, this season in fact seems to be mired with a lot of controversies for the Curlies. Now it remains to be seen how do they tackle the entire situation. But yes, things not looking very bright for Curlies. As said, licenses is also going to be cancelled in the next few days, Shilpa.
Anshul, so you highlighted something very important. Their license cancelled because of all these controversies, and Sonali Phogat's case has triggered the cancelling of the license, but the demolition because of coastal zone violations. We're going to leave it at that. Thank you very much, Anshul, because we have some breaking news coming in from Maharashtra.